Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on the weTHRIVE podcast, where we share stories from entrepreneurs from around the world about how they're creating an impactful legacy. I'm your host, Casey Clark. I'm also the founder and chief growth officer of C3, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing Paula Cherie, who is a business coach and fine art photographer. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about you.
So I grew up in Pennsylvania. I now live in sunny Florida. I'm in Central Florida, just outside of Tampa. And as you mentioned, I started off doing boudoir photography in 2015. Prior to that, I did some retro pinup. That was part-time while I worked my corporate job. But I went full-time in 2015, and so now I am doing business coaching for creatives, and I do a fine art full-time. So it's a lot of fun. I enjoy helping entrepreneurs grow personally and professionally. My favorite kind of clients to work with are established creative entrepreneurs and wellness professionals who like to host retreats.
Awesome. So how did you get into photography, especially pinup? Like that's a very specific niche.
So that is a great question. So I had actually had my own retro pinup photos done. I was like late 20s, and my husband was deployed in Afghanistan. He was my fiance at the time. And I was like, I really want to get these photos done before I turn 30, just so I can have something that says I was hot one day. And also to be able to send them to him in Afghanistan. So I enjoyed the experience so much. And I already kind of had an affinity for photography to begin with, that I was just like, I really want to bring this experience to other women. So I just woke up one day and I was like, I literally did it backwards. I woke up one day and said, I'm going to be a photographer. I'm going to learn how to do this genre. And I think I'm going to make a pinup calendar. So literally I'm dating myself here. I went on Craigslist and I posted an ad for models, and I would in my free time, I would pack up all of my photography gear and go to do these, I would do their hair and their makeup. I would set up the backdrop, the whole thing, and I would photograph it. And I put this entire calendar together. But by the time I was done, I had an entire portfolio so that I could, market the calendar and also start to market my photography services.
I love it. That is awesome. So given your background and what you do, I'm really interested in hearing what exactly thriving means to you.
So to me, thriving, at least as an entrepreneur, financial success is a big key indicator, growth in my business, positive impact on my clients' lives. A lot of them have gone on to feel more confident and empowered, which is the whole purpose of doing what I'm doing. And personal fulfillment, you want to, obviously, nobody goes into business for themselves to not feel personally fulfilled.
Yeah, absolutely. So what obstacles have you faced when you've been trying to thrive, either personally or professionally?
So I've faced a lot of obstacles over the years. I think when I first started, it was definitely pricing myself and my services appropriately, as well as marketing my services to gain clients consistently. Later, it was learning that I can't do it all myself and that I needed to outsource and automate to better manage my time.
Yeah, absolutely. You're speaking my language. I love it. So with automating things and really learning how to market, like I know a little bit about, what you do as a business coach and things. So what resources really helped you kind of step into thriving yourself, like once you started facing those obstacles?
Well, I was going to say, I think as prior to setting up business, you have all of the accountant, the attorney, but I did outsource my Google Ads managers or my Google Ads. So I did my Facebook ads myself for a while. Then I handed them off as well as my Google Ads. I outsourced those. I have taken control of my Facebook ads back, but I still have outsourced my Google Ads. It's one of those things that I just feel like they change. They make so many changes all the time. Facebook makes changes all the time to their algorithm and all the rules that you need to keep up with. So I feel like you almost have to be a pay-per-click expert. I do advocate outsourcing it, but I think it's a good idea to get in there and do it yourself, at least to start with, so that you know what kind of questions to ask or what to look for when you are outsourcing something like that. And you want to make sure that you're, getting a return on your investment, that you're not getting ripped off, so to speak.
Yeah. Ads can rack up quick.
Exactly. The other thing that I would say, or probably my biggest resource, has been actually hiring coaches and mentors. So just over the years, I think I've hired at least 3, and I've always seen a return on investment much faster than I would have trying to do it all on my own. You might as well, it's always better to learn from somebody who's been there and done it before you than trying to reinvent the wheel and figure it out on your own. So yes, it's expensive. You do have to put money out up front, but you're going to see that return much faster.
Yeah.
I think I've also learned a ton through industry Facebook groups and networking as well.
That's a really good point. I mean, that's a free resource, and I'm assuming in most groups, they don't charge, but then I feel like a lot are more, it's not as expensive as like hiring a coach. So it's definitely like something that people could use as a baby step, so to speak. So
yes, I completely agree. I learned a ton from the groups. I mean, you do have to spend a lot of time in there reading. And they also serve really well when you have invested in coaching. Usually they'll have like a support group, so you can go in and ask your peers at any time, especially if your coach or your mentor isn't available. But speaking of networking, I'm going to plug our group that we belong to. I really can't say enough about our networking group, Networking Retreat and Collaborations with Julie Getzinger and Tracy Cooper. I feel like it is such a blessing to be a part of this group because there's so much knowledge collectively from us to be shared. I'm super excited to see the retreats that are born from this group because I just think they're going to be unforgettable.
Yeah, I agree. I'm extremely excited for January, even though I have no idea what we're doing. So, it's just, like you said, it's the collaborative knowledge and everything. I feel like it's going to be a huge just resource and even catalyst for everyone in there. So I'm excited. Yeah. So awesome plug. I love it.
Hey, I had to fit it in somewhere.
Oh, good. So speaking of something that's unforgettable, what does legacy mean to you, and how are you creating a legacy for yourself?
So I'm leaving a legacy through my artwork. My hope is to create a lasting impact through empowering women, either through their business or helping them see themselves in a new light by helping them to silence their inner critic. So I want them to feel more confident and beautiful.
I love that. And I'm assuming that kind of through this journey of you being an entrepreneur that you've had to really work on that yourself, and that's what enables you to help empower other people.
That is true. I want to say it like you almost can't teach it unless you've done it yourself. But through that, I think by being a teacher, you continue to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And I think in so many cases, like when we're working with people, we often see ourselves in them too. So it's like, oh yeah, I've grown so much and I still have so much growing to do. We're able to look at them and still, like you said, learn from them, pick up things that we still need to work on because we're clearly not perfect. So, yeah, absolutely. So if you could give someone a nugget who is just starting out in business or who might even be in the same space as you, what nugget would you give them to help them create an impactful legacy?
A couple, actually. So keep learning, constantly learn new skills, perfect your craft, so that not only that you can evolve, but you're helping others evolve as well. And the other one is, don't be afraid to outsource. And I say that as a type A personality that has trouble letting go and wants to control everything. Because you're going to burn yourself out if you don't. If you're not sure what to outsource, that is one of the ways that I can help. We can figure out what needs to be automated and what needs to be outsourced.
Yeah, absolutely. So any other nuggets you want to share?
I think those are probably the top two.
The top two? Awesome. Yeah. All right. So how can people connect with you online?
You can find me at power-breakthrough.com or bio.site/Paula Cherie. And that has links, that has all of my links on there.
Okay, awesome. And I'm assuming by all links you can be found on Instagram, especially since you're creative.
Yes.
Facebook. Are you also on LinkedIn?
Yep. All of those. And I have a YouTube channel.
Awesome. I love it. Was there anything that you haven't mentioned that you want to share with our listeners?
I just would hope that, if you're thinking about doing a retreat, consider joining us on one of our calls. They are the first Monday of every month.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
Yep. First Monday. Yeah. For non-members. Yeah.
So we would love to see you in there. And, I appreciate you guys hanging out with us today.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being a guest and thank you for those nuggets. I'd also like to thank Stephen Lamar Moore, who created the music for our podcast. So thank you again, Paula. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you for having me and have a wonderful day.
You too.